Hello, this is Richard Outram, and welcome to the Prepare for Growth podcast series. Bite-sized wisdom for leadership and personal development. So thank you for taking time out to join me. I'm so grateful for this unique opportunity.
And in this week's Prepare for Growth podcast episode, did curiosity kill the cat or improve its prowess? The definition of curiosity: a strong desire to know or learn something. We are born with a natural hunger to learn, and that trait can bring us benefits well into adulthood. So what causes so many people to lose curiosity as we age? A lack of curiosity can be seen every day in business and other social interactions. So how do we reinvigorate this critical trait in our lives? In the book, The Intelligence Trap, by author David Robson, he states that if you lack any of the three pillars to academic success, general intelligence, curiosity, and conscientiousness, you are going to suffer. At work, curiosity is necessary for us to pick up tacit knowledge and can protect us from stress and burnout, which helps us remain motivated when the going gets tough. Curiosity also powers our creativity by encouraging us to probe on issues that others have not considered and by triggering counterfactual thinking and possible biases. A genuine interest in another person's needs even improves our social skills, helping us to uncover the best potential compromises and boosting our emotional intelligence. I read this paragraph from a recent 2020 Harvard Business Review article on empathy and curiosity by Peter Bregman, which is relevant in our deeply uncertain times and unprecedented grounds we are all facing in our personal and business lives. The article kicks off about a CEO not knowing what to do next in these uncertain times and demonstrating his vulnerability. He says, "While everything I could have said could have been true, I don't actually know what is true, which means that before demonstrating my understanding, I have to develop it. I need to ask questions and be open and listen and learn, which takes humility. Humility is not knowing, and that eventually and almost always leads to empathy, which leads to compassion. The result is a richer and more fulfilling life. Perhaps curiosity also brings more joy and happiness and alleviates fear of the unknown as you explore, discover, and learn." Let's consider these sample questions from the book if you are wondering about your curiosity quotient. I actively seek as much new information as I can in new situations. Everywhere I go, I'm out looking for new things or experiences. I'm the kind of person who embraces unfamiliar people, events, and places. Landmark studies referenced in the book show that people who strongly endorse these kinds of statements were more likely to succeed at whatever they set their mind to achieve. Now back to the question at the outset and what we need to do to encourage curiosity. Through our subtlest of actions at home, school, or work, our behaviors demonstrate to our children or our colleagues whether exploration was desired or discouraged, enhancing or dampening their interest over time. Curiosity is contagious and it's very difficult to encourage curiosity in children or colleagues if you don't experience curiosity in your own life. So rather than offering a straight answer to a question at home or work, use the opportunity to open up the subject and encourage different points of view, which inevitably leads to a chain of further questions and thus more curious and engaged interactions. Research shows that another essential ingredient for personal and intellectual fulfillment is a characteristic known as a growth mindset. In her best-selling book Mindset by Carol Dweck, she presents the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, which boil down to beliefs about our own talents and stretching beyond our comfort zones. For example, do you agree with the following statements? A failure to perform a task well will reflect on your overall self-worth. Learning a new unfamiliar task puts you at risk of embarrassment. You are too smart to try hard. Effort is only for the incompetent. According to Dweck, if you broadly agree with these statements, then you may be more of a fixed mindset and at risk of possibly reducing your chances of later success by deliberately avoiding new challenges and experiences. Further studies show that a growth mindset can protect us from dogmatic reasoning by increasing our intellectual humility. Being willing to admit that you don't know something, actively seeking feedback on your ideas, and complimenting others on their intellectual strengths are signs of intellectual humility. In a growth mindset, you are typically not worried about proving your position relative to those around you, and your knowledge does not reflect your personal value. You are motivated to learn because it improves your cognitive abilities, so it's a lot easier to admit that you don't know something. Curiosity and learning traits don't threaten to pull you down from any perceived hierarchy. If you have a fixed mindset, on the other hand, you're all the time trying to find out where you stand in the perceived hierarchy. You could be threatened at the prospect of being dethroned, so you become overly defensive and protective of your position. Your curiosity is curtailed. You dismiss other people's ideas because you know better. In business, leaders need to find ways to help employees enhance their curiosity. We want people to ask the big questions, and we want to celebrate them when they do. We want them to experiment and discover. If people aren't failing, they're not asking hard enough questions or taking big enough risks. Curiosity can be like a muscle. Its strength will erode if it isn't used often enough. When curiosity ebbs, people lapse into routine and complacency, which exposes a company to disruption and competition. To prevent these threats, leaders should continually emphasize how critical curiosity is and reward people for developing it. When our curiosity is triggered, we are less likely to fall prey to confirmation bias, which is looking for information that supports our beliefs rather than for evidence suggesting we are wrong, and to stereotyping people, which is making broad judgments based on our own filters and perceptions. Curiosity has these positive effects because it leads us to generate alternatives. Curiosity encourages members of a group to put themselves in one another's shoes and take an interest in one another's ideas rather than focus on their singular point of view. That encourages them to work together more effectively. Conflicts are more productive, and groups achieve better results and therefore improved business performance. Institute curiosity in your culture and everyday interactions. Model key traits such as inquisitiveness. Emphasize learning goals and allow exploration and broadening interests. In your daily interaction, ask more why, what if, and how might we questions to stimulate innovation, idea generation, and creativity. Lastly, look for the appropriate learning and exploration cues when interviewing candidates and hire for curiosity. In my view, curiosity didn't kill the cat, and remember, satisfaction brought it back again, but enhanced their prowess, smarts, and survivability as a vital part of life.
I hope that you found today's session valuable. If so, please follow me on Instagram @outram.richard and post your comments. Thank you again. Until the next podcast.